we need to talk about Pokemon Legends ZA. After watching the trailer for Legends ZA today, I realized I'm not excited for this game. As a lifelong Pokemon fan, it is weird for me to say that I'm not excited for the newest Pokemon release. The last time I got excited for a Pokemon release was Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And those games were more than lackluster. So Pokemon Legends ZA was originally announced back in February of 2024, so a year ago. And since then, we've gotten a few more, trailers. After watching the trailer, I was just left feeling empty. The animations look choppy. The world, they're building it up like Kalos, the city of Kalos is going to be this lively city with just Pokemon and people, but you just know at this point it's going to be just a vacuum of nothing. The graphics still feel like they haven't really improved, and okay, yes, granted, they are dealing with the hardware of the Switch and assuming the Switch 2, which is, I guess, a little bit more powerful. But I think the way that the Pokemon Company does stuff is that they always develop their games for like the previous generation. If you look back at like Pokemon Black and White, it came out in 2011, 2010, around when the 3DS was kind of the new thing, and everyone was upset that Pokemon Black and White released on the original DS and not the 3DS. And it wasn't until 2013, 2 or 3 years after the 3DS release, that Pokemon games finally came to that. I mean, they even released Pokemon Black and White 2 on the regular 3DS, which was like, guys, the 3DS is right there, okay? So I'm thinking that they obviously developed this for the Switch, which, yes, is a very, at this point, weak, outdated hardware. It was outdated when it came out, and now even more outdated 7 or 8 years later. But I wanted to talk about the net worth of the Pokemon Company, the Pokemon Company at large. It's the biggest media franchise in the world. The Pokemon Company is estimated to have a net worth of $100 billion. Okay, that is a lot of money. Now, we talk about we just throw numbers out there, right? Like, it's just the bigger the numbers get, the more, insane they are. $1 million, obviously, is $1,000. Now, $1 billion is 1,000 million. Okay, now it's just like, you think about how much money $1 billion is, and you're like, it's almost so much money you can't even really quantify how much money that is. But looking at the trailer, you're like, this is not the product of a company that is worth $100 billion. Okay, to be fair, Game Freak is the ones responsible for the Pokemon games, and they are a small slice of the pie of, the Pokemon Company at large, because the Pokemon Company encompasses the games, the shows, the trading cards, the plushies, the toys. All of that is the Pokemon Company at large. But the main driving factor of all of that other merchandise is Game Freak, is Creatures Inc., is these Pokemon games. So you would think that they would put more effort into these types of stuff. Game Freak is a studio that develops the Pokemon games. Almost all of them except for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and we know how that game turned out. Game Freak, the studio, has approximately 207 employees, according to Bulbapedia.com, as of 2024. That is a relatively small team for how much money these games make. Let me just bring up a studio. Let's just say Naughty Dog, because I'm thinking about The Last of Us, because The Last of Us series is coming up, so I was thinking about playing the games again. Let's look up Naughty Dog studio employee count. Yes, Naughty Dog has a employee count of over 400, and they're making games that are incredible. But the Naughty Dog studio is not worth $100 billion, okay? So the city has wild zones. So it's kind of like Legends Arceus, where you would go into those, I don't even remember what they're called. Wild areas? Is that what they're called? I don't remember. It's been so long. You would go into these different areas and you would catch Pokemon, battle Pokemon, progress through the story, all that. But now that we're encased in a city, they have zones zoned off. And they talked about, you can catch Pokemon, cool, yada, yada, yada. It's just, I'm looking at these models, not of the Pokemon. The Pokemon, they're fine. They look, fine. I'm just looking at the background. What are these windows, buildings? They all look just flat. Like, I will say, I like the way that the UI looks. The UI looks pretty cool. So then the trailer goes on to show that at night, the city's zones falls into... Okay, so he started talking about how like Pokemon could be found everywhere. And then he says like some of them can even be found on rooftops. I'm like, who cares? Like he was saying it like it was going to be some exciting thing. I'm looking at that like, dude, am I even a Pokemon fan anymore? So when the night comes in the city, you get to participate in something that's called the ZA Royale, which is, I don't know, you battle wave after wave of trainers. It's kind of like it looks like, to me, it would be like a battle tower thing. It's cool that they're bringing Mega Evolution back. Mega Evolution, probably the best gimmick that Pokemon has ever done. After this trailer, I'm just not excited for this game. These games aren't interesting to me anymore. And as a lifelong Pokemon fan, it kind of feels weird to admit that. The last game that I was truly ecstatic over was Pokemon Sword and Shield. And ever since then, I just feel like the Pokemon games have been disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And maybe, I don't want to end this video on, it being a negative note, but the reality is just like, I don't even know if I'm going to buy these games on day one or this game on day one. I might even wait till it goes on sale. I mean, if they ever go on sale, or I might buy it used. I don't know. Probably not. I'll probably buy it because I'm part of the problem. So this video was kind of probably all over the place, but to wrap things up, I just think that the Pokemon Company being such a huge company as it is, I feel like they should allocate more of their time, effort, money, resources to the Pokemon games. Because after all, it's like, yeah, the Pokemon games, Game Freak and Creatures Inc. are like a tiny cog in the giant machine that is the Pokemon Company. These Pokemon games are like the flywheel of the entire movement. I mean, without these games, you wouldn't be able to, release new Pokemon cards, new Pokemon toys, plushies, shirts, merchandise, socks. I don't know. It's just put more effort into the games. Please and thank you. Let me know. Am I overreacting by saying that these games aren't interesting? Are you interested in these games? If you are, please let me know why. Just, be peaceful in the comments. And if you hate my opinion, you can let me know. I mean, I'm tougher than that. I'm fine with that. I'll just cry about it later. That's no big deal. I'm going to go play Pokemon X and Y because those games are probably better than this game is going to be. That's my hot take. And I didn't even like X and Y all that much. But in hindsight, they're not as bad as some of the other slop that Pokemon Company's released lately. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.